another episode of Absolute Comics, the weekly podcast where I get together with my buddy Sal and we talk about the news going out of the world of comic books, movies, and video games featuring your favorite superheroes. Today's big topics are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is hitting its 40th anniversary, Venom trailer dropped, and then we're just going to talk about Fall of X and its actual ending. Its conclusion is over. And other comic books that we've been reading, because I've been just catching up on so much stuff. I also want to get your thoughts on Bloodhunt. But let's kick off Venom trailer. Sal and I did a very direct reaction, but if you didn't watch it on the channel or any of our other stuff, we'll give you our 2-second thoughts. I thought it was fun. Looks like a blast. Looks like it's going to be as good as Let There Be Carnage, which I didn't think was terrible, but I didn't think it was great.
Yeah.
Sal?
I think it'll be exactly as the quality of Let There Be Carnage.
Okay, cool. We're done with that. Move on.
Yeah.
There's a whole video. We spent 20 minutes talking about Venom.
Exactly.
But yeah, so that's the big thing. Next thing that's going to be super quick, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. 40th anniversary.
Yeah.
I'm actually pseudo shocked how old I am now.
Right. Yeah. I can't believe the Turtles hit 40. I can't believe the Turtles. I mean, I can. The Turtles was such a big thing and remains one. It never hit the heights that it was at in the 90s, but 80s to 90s. It was already dying by the time, the
TV show is really what got it to its stardom. I mean, once that was over.
Yes. The live action TV show was like their way of saying this is clearly over.
Yeah.
But the concept of taking 4 characters who each embody one aspect of a personality is tried and true. Like Sex and the City did it to much acclaim. The Golden Girls, Turtles. It's a time honored method. And it works. The Turtles are fun, they're marketable, and it's a really easy to understand origin, despite the fact that people keep mucking with it on a regular basis.
Ooze fell in sewer and mutated turtles.
A rat. Like turtles raised by a rat,
right?
And they can fight.
They can fight, and I mean, and you could do the reincarnation plot. You can do the we watch TV shows plot. It doesn't matter.
No, exactly. And unlike like Star Wars, I think that up until Mutant Mayhem, it didn't matter what version of the Turtles you liked. Every Turtles fan was happy to have you. Yeah. Like every Turtles fan was just like, oh, you love Turtles? Me too. Which one's your favorite? Oh, the 87 cartoon. Oh, I love the 2003 cartoon. I like the Mirage comic book.
Who are you?
The Turtles, get the hell out of here.
The Turtles fandom actually reminds me of the Power Rangers fandom, where like no matter what era of Power Rangers fan you're in, we can all talk about it because they're all just the same thing over.
They're just glad you're here.
Yeah. Oh, welcome to our fandom.
Yeah. Oh, hey, we have we have snacks. Come on in. I mean, how could you really crap on the Turtles? They're all very positive characters. They love pizza like we all should. Ninjas, sure.
Now I want to talk for a moment because I don't think you're tracking what's going on with the Turtles comic fandom.
Well, I'm aware that it's
and how dumb IDW is being. Okay,
oh, you don't like what IDW is doing, eh?
Oh no, that company is so goddamn clueless. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about what I do know. Okay. This is based on solicits and things like that. Yeah. First off, I've had questions about IDW ever since they lost a bunch of their licenses. They're really just a brand that gets licenses and puts them out there. Right. They own the license to Godzilla. And there was no Godzilla comic for March or April. The finale of the Godzilla book came out in May. Okay. Yeah. That already struck me as weird. Like if I own a comic book company, even if my series can't get out on time, that's fine. That happens. Writers, artists, whatever. I'm making a freaking one-shot about that movie character doing something.
Right. You're talking about the movie tie, like there being a movie tie-in, something on the shelf while the movie is out so that people will flock to the comic book store.
Right. That's what I mean.
Your
just
Godzilla
something
book
on the shelf that says IDW Godzilla.
I mean, there wasn't there? It was called Justice League versus Godzilla versus
That
Kong.
Also got its delay until May.
It was delayed. Well, I mean, does that say it's IDW or does that say that was like a hiccup in the Godzilla franchise?
So that's what I was like. Okay, I'll give them this. Godzilla's owned by a Japanese company. There could be a lot of hands in the pot here.
Exactly. Like every book gets delayed because every licensing book has to go through 1,000 hands. You think that when they're making like a Predator comic book, Marvel owns the license. We're good. No, they have to contact like the company that owns the Predator license. They have to run every story by them. It's not enough to be like, here's the script. You approve the script. We can do whatever we want with the script. No, once you get the pages back, they got to send them back. They got to go, that's not how the helmet works. That's not how this works. Like there's people that are paid to be nerds about the franchises. And if the art doesn't go to the standards or the expectations or fit in with the lore, it has to change. Right. Back to the artist, change that. It is 10 times harder to make a licensed book than it is to make an independent comic book.
Right. And so I'm fine with that. Whatever. IDW is trying to get out, like get some more licenses, get back on track. Let's see how things are going. Right.
Yes.
Go. I'm also a Turtles comic fan.
Right.
Okay. Now the Turtles comics I covered on the channel. We did 1 through 50 and I called it there. It's not that 50 through 100 are a bad story. It's just a different story, which
but also still part of the same continuity.
Right. 100 to 150 was kind of iffy to go through. Like that's when they got rid of Kevin Eastman and then he moved on to Last Ronin and all that stuff. Fine. I am 100% on board with the new writer coming in and putting their vision on something. I am the one that I am the loudspeaker for, hey, when your favorite writer leaves, that is the end of your run.
Yeah, well, you follow creatives. That's fair.
That's what I'm all about. But I'm confused and baffled by the fact that we are now getting Turtles #1 with Jason Aaron, and we are continuing the continuity. Because I already talked to you about this, and we're not going to go deep into it again.
Yes.
But everything that you know about the Turtles doesn't exist. So what is Jason Aaron going to do?
Right.
Like you're gonna revive or get the crappy version of the Shredder that they brought back, or Splitter's gone. Like all this stuff is gone, or it's already been dealt with, or it's already the major plot. Like Kang has already been, or Krang has already been. I always mix up the name, but Krang has already been dealt with. So even bringing him back in is not the same Krang story.
Yeah.
So that is already the first weird decision IDW has made, in my opinion, of the Turtles.
Well, I mean, it's not like IDW told the creative team working on Turtles to do XYZ. They believed in the creator's vision and they told them to, just do, they approved their decision to go in any direction they wanted to. And the fact is, like, the Turtles have been told, their story's been told so many times. Why not do whatever the hell you want with the franchise?
No, I would be on board if Jason Aaron was like, I'm going to start over, but we're not doing Shredder, Splinter. But they're there. I can get to them at issue 100 of my run. Like,
right. No, the truth is, like, as much as, because that's the thing, is that they want you to be very aware of the fact that the Turtles universe is not rebooting.
Right. But so what I'm getting at, though, because we've already had that discussion.
Yeah.
Both of these, I just kind of like, okay, IDW is trying to get back on his feet with his licensing. Godzilla could be an issue. The new Turtles run could be Jason Aaron stating that he wants to continue the continuity because he doesn't want to be beholden to doing Splinter and Shredder and Krang, and he wants to do his own thing. All that could be the case. So last week I decided, what happened to Last Ronin 2? Last Ronin 2 dropped, and our contact at IDW didn't send me anything, so I didn't even know it happened. But I'm a huge Last Ronin fan, the concept. And the sequel is making 4 brand new Turtles and bringing them in with powers and things like that.
Yes.
Cool. Issue 1 dropped. I finally got my hands on it. I read it. We covered it on the channel. So last week I was like, it's been like a month since I covered Last Ronin 2.
Yeah.
There's got to be another issue of Last Ronin 2.
Last Ronin Revolution.
Right. In this day and age, Sal, day and age where people want to consume content within 60 seconds. And if anything takes longer than 30 seconds, we start to lose them. Day and age of just rot being thrown into your brain because everyone wants to get rapid fire everything, where even the biggest Marvel movies have issues reminding you they exist past 1 week of coming out. Who at IDW decided to make Last Ronin 2 an every other month release at $9 a pop?
Right. No, the price tag is a lot.
And every other month. It's April, June, August.
Yeah. I don't think that they want it to be an every other month release. I think it's just that, like, they had to move back the release date from May 8th to June 12th.
I don't think that's the case, because then why would you make your double-sized $9 issue?
Right. Well, you mean the first issue?
No. June and August issue are both pre-ordered priced at $8.99. They're doing.
They're probably going to be like 40 plus pages.
That's my assumption. I don't know the page count. We will be having this whole discussion again if it is a 21-page $9 book.
I understand. Apparently, yeah.
But that means that you're taking your 2 issues, making them into one, For what reason?
I think the art just takes a while. The
But if
creatives need as much time as they can to finish the book. That's the case with any delay. I mean, it's not like IDW is like,
I don't think it was
well,
a
the
delay.
hire's nice and lukewarm. Let's wait. Like, it's the creative team that worked on it. I mean, you read the first issue, right?
Yeah, no, I did. Yeah.
It is a very full issue. There's a ton, not only of words, much to its detriment in my estimation, but like there's a lot of lore, world building, art, multiple extra pages. Like it takes a while. It just took them longer, like the creative team. And rather than rush out, I mean, look, you know as well as I do, the worst thing that happens to a comic book event or story is when the quality / art changes.
Yes. No, I agree with you on that.
The Batman Catwoman book from Tom King, which was, I think, drawn primarily by Clayman. I don't remember if that's true. But the primary artist had to leave for some time. So Liam Sharp drops in for like 2 or 3 issues. Right. No one's going to remember how delayed Batman Catwoman was. All they're going to remember is when they pick it up years and years and years from now and get to the part where Liam Sharp drew the book and go, what the hell happened here?
Yep. Well, that happens in Turtles too. There's a whole segment where they tried to get like a classic artist to come in. Mm-hmm. And like, I loved the style they were doing with the original, like 1 through 50 through 100. And then the classic artists come in. It was so jarring to go back to like a Mirage style. Yeah. Where I was like, if it stays like this, I might drop the book. Like, so I looked it up. It was officially delayed. Mm-hmm. But my argument is, and I got the page count. It is 39 pages.
Okay.
That's still 2 issues.
Yes.
So why are we delaying it?
They're delaying it because because the creative team needs more time. I mean, like, you hope.
But what I'm saying is, why don't they just go, hey, instead of making a double-sized issue at $9 in June,
cut it down?
Cut it to 2 issues and do May and June.
I mean, I think
because I barely remember this is a thing. Yeah. That this comic exists.
Yeah. What they need to do is remind people that the book exists.
Yes.
And I think that would be a good idea to have like the creative team go out and do like podcasting tours and stuff like that, but also like just to like social media posts being like, hey, Last Ronin 2, get ready for June 12th, make sure to pre-order. I mean, I would hate to buy a book at $4 and find out that it is just 50% of one book and it arbitrarily just stops. Because the worst thing for me is when a book just stops. Like when
I'll give you that. But like, if they're going to do this, you said it right. IDW needs to remind people Last Ronin 2 is a thing.
Well, that's true.
Because I barely knew Last Ronin 1 was a thing. It's the #1 issue in comic books in general. They don't know how to market their products. Marvel, DC all have this issue where they don't market outside of like their echo chamber.
Right.
Because that was the exact issue of what killed Doomsday Clock. Remember that?
Right. Well, Doomsday Clock was killed because of delays.
No, but because of delays and then not knowing when it was coming out at the time. Remember, that was the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, if we're going to get these delays, if we're going to make this double-sized issue, they need to do something to remind you that this is a book that is happening and you need to go check it out.
Yeah. I mean, there are articles on League Comic Book Geeks, IGN, there's posts all over the place that like remind you that it exists. I think it's
the echo chamber is my point. That's the echo chamber.
Well, I mean, okay, I agree with that. And I think that like when it comes to Marvel and DC, there's no excuse as to why I shouldn't be seeing actual genuine multi-platform marketing going on. Like I should see like bus advertisements for comic books. I should be seeing them in like, magazines, like real magazines, not just like, niche magazines. I should be seeing them in the world because Marvel and DC are owned by multinational conglomerates that have that kind of pull. They have like, I should be able to see like an ad for a Marvel comic on like
a Marvel movie.
Well, on a Marvel movie, or I was going to say like during a football game, because they have contacts with those industries. IDW is a smaller outfit, and
but they got contacts at Nickelodeon. And Nickelodeon has a lot of reach. If you're doing Turtles. Now, I can see IDW having problems pushing some of their more obscure titles or things. I get that.
Yeah.
Well, but the other Turtles thing is, like, has connections.
Do we know they're not? I mean, like, you don't watch Nickelodeon.
All right, I'll give you that. I will give you that, Sal. You're right. I'm sitting here arguing that Nickelodeon is not promoting the comic. And I don't know the last time I watched a Nicktoon. Okay.
I don't know. But it requires money and interest.
Yeah.
You know, I could see IDW reaching out to the Hollywood Reporter and being like, let's do a big full page splash on Last Ronin 2. And I could see them going like, no. But I would look at the Turtles 40th anniversary. I would look at the Turtles 40th anniversary media blitz, because like that has been getting everywhere, and Last Ronin 2 is included in that.
Okay.
So it's a way to kind of like get everything
you know what?
promoted.
This only has ever happened like 3 times in all of our podcasts, but I am going to say I am probably wrong here, and I'm just an angered Turtles fan.
Look, I am on the exact same stage when it comes to a failure to market product from the comic book industry. I don't see Last Ronin 2 as a failure because okay, 2 things. First of which, I couldn't get away from Last Ronin 2 promotions before the first issue came out. Like, I knew that book was coming.
I didn't, but again, echo chamber that I'm not a part of because I got
right, exactly. Well, I'm not even in the Turtles sphere anymore, but I was still aware of it. And second thing is, for me, I wouldn't want to bombard the audience with reminders that A, the book got delayed because IDW was already under fire, and B, I wouldn't want to confuse people about like a release that isn't coming for another 2 months. You know, it's like, hey, Last Ronin 2, it's coming in June. If you say that in April, I mean, you have to announce it in April because it's not coming out in May anymore.
Right.
But then you don't then every week go, just a little reminder, we weren't able to get the book out. Just a little reminder, the book is coming in 2 months. You know, like just, you know, I think that the trick is just keep people excited, you know? Maybe preview art, maybe preview.
Well,
pages,
maybe you're right. Maybe I'm looking at more in the 40th anniversary, which goes on sale in July, so it'll be after Last Ronin 2.
Exactly.
But you will have Last Ronin 2. We'll have the 40th anniversary, then we'll have Last Ronin 2. So it's actually a good sandwich.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the creative teams. I can't find a list of who's doing what, but the people that they have on this is Jim Lawson, Tristan Jones, Paul Harmon, Sophie Campbell, Pablo Tunica, Tom Waltz, Michael Dialnus. Ciro Neely, Lloyd Goldfine. Like I knew the first people. Now I don't
the creative teams on.
They've got because they got so many different things happening here. I knew the beginning people. I don't know these names of the back half, but I mean, Turtles have existed for so long.
Mm-hmm.
That that's the thing.
Yeah. No, it's true. The 40th anniversary thing is going to be, as I understand it, it's like a celebration of the Turtles from its inception to now. Like there's going to be
the Mirage series through the 90s up until Tales of TMT and the rise of the TMT.
Well, you're getting the IDW books that people love. You're getting the Mirage series that started it all. You're also getting the Archie Comics series.
Yeah,
that people also have like a love for. You're getting The Last Ronin, obviously. You're getting the cartoons of both the 2003 and 2012 and the 87, plus Rise of the TMNT, and Kevin Eastman's doing his own a new original story, whereas most of the time it's been Kevin Eastman and Tom Waltz.
Yeah.
So it's like you're getting that book in particular is going to be like just a thud. Like I
want it. I'm going to be getting it. It's going to be going to my collection, but
right. So it's like,
so I'll admit. Because fans of this podcast know that I never admit when I think I'm wrong.
I mean, no, neither.
I'm just gonna say I'm probably wrong about my hatred right now for IDW and their treatment of the Turtles, and it's probably just coming out of a place of love for the Turtles. And I just want more people to be aware of this stuff.
Let me tell you something. Should they have rebooted the Turtles with Jason Aaron? 100% yes.
Yes,
that should have been a reboot.
Even if he doesn't do that shit, he should have it available to him.
Yes, it should have been like, it could have been a twofold, where it's like, it's a straight up reboot. You are doing a brand new version of the Turtles, but don't use any of the original Turtle stuff. You know, like Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, it's not an initiative I like, but it friggin' worked. Yeah. Where it's like, don't use all the original Turtle lore except for the 4 Turtles. That said, if you look at that first 4 issue lineup of creative teams paired with Jason Aaron, I don't think anyone's going to complain.
No, I mean, I'm going to be covering it. I said I don't plan on covering the rest of the Kevin Eastman run because I just felt it went in a weird direction.
I don't blame you.
It was. I still think it was fine, but it definitely became more of a niche Turtles thing. And then the follow-up stuff just got so much backlash, and I didn't find it to be that entertaining myself.
Oh no, that's totally fair.
Yeah,
I dropped off.
I know. I mean, the first
even
1 through 50, I think, was great in the IDW run. That's like the
I'm not even
golden
really
era.
a fan of the last Ronin 2, like the second one. I read the first issue. I was like, why is this so lore heavy? The reason why people like this is because it was Dark Knight Returns for the Turtles.
Yeah, no, now they're trying to drop so much exposition as to what's going on.
They're world building. They're like, okay, we got a universe. And I mean, look, there's a video game, there's a movie.
Yeah.
Like, we're getting, like, you will not be able to escape Last Ronin.
Okay,
and,
I'm going to end the discussion here so we can move on because I am at a
that's fair. All right, Last Ronin 2, coming out.
I want to ask one last question.
Yeah.
If you're right, they're building out the world of Last Ronin. How long before we get a comic where they revive the original 4 Turtles?
Oh my God! Right? I don't know. I mean, like the thing is, the whole the video game and the movie are so contingent on there not being any more Turtles.
Yeah,
I feel like they're probably gonna. Plus, IDW, they can get away with not doing it. I don't think they're gonna do it because I think they can get away with not doing it.
I see them not doing it for years, and then when Last Ronin 2 finally has a dip, we have
when Last Ronin 2 is over, like Last Ronin 3 will be like Dark Knight 3, where it's like, let's just throw them into a Lazarus pit and bring them all back. Or time travel, where the new Turtles will meet the old Turtles. That'll probably be more likely.
I can see the time travel thing happening because they do that all the time with like the Power Rangers, where they're like, and now you're meeting the originals.
Yeah,
here's the surviving members.
Or like a reveal, because look, reincarnation's big in this universe. Maybe it's like, no, the new 4 Turtles, they're the old 4 Turtles.
All right, so moving forward, I'll do this one first because I feel Follow X is going to take up the bulk of the episode. How are you feeling about Bloodhunt?
It looks great.
Have you not read any of it?
Yeah, I've read it all. I mean,
okay.
It looks amazing. Pepe Larraz on a Marvel event is like a no-brainer, and I'm glad that, like, at the very least, because I haven't seen any of the X-Men office art or writers on anything for Marvel outside of Al Ewing, and I'm like, you have Spurrier, you have Gillen, you have Duggan, you have Percy. I mean, Ben Percy is doing Predator versus Black Panther, so hooray. But outside of that, I'm like, at least retain all the artists from the Krakoa period, because the art has always been fantastic.
Yeah.
And Larraz doing Marvel book, just distinctly Marvel book, is a no-brainer. That said, my wife is a big Jed MacKay reader. She loves the Moon Knight series. She loves the Doctor Strange book. And you're rewarded if you're a Jed MacKay reader. Neither of us are reading the Avengers book, so I have no idea what the hell the Infinite City is.
I plan on catching up with that myself. I forgot that book existed. You want to talk about not being promoted? I read Marvel books and they weren't promoting the Avengers book.
No
Avengers crossed over. There was no backup at the back of a Spider-Man issue that's like Avengers by Jed MacKay.
It's really easy to skip Avengers.
I go over to it and I'm like, all right, I'm download all Avengers and catch up like I did with Poison Ivy, and I'm doing with Guardians and all these other things. And I'm like, 14 issues? What?
Yeah, right? No, I know. I read the first issue and I was like, this is more of the same. I'm never going to read this. Because all I'm doing now, I mean, like, I skipped Avengers for my entire life until Bendis' New Avengers. And when Hickman relaunched New Avengers, I was like, oh, great. And I read it and I'm like, oh, this isn't even close to what it was. This is something else. This is something completely different. I'm out. I caught back up with it after, all the Hickmaning, but it was like, it was tough. And it turns out all I'm doing is just, so I've spent every day since then chasing New Avengers.
I mean, you're not wrong. I love the New Avengers. I actually did not mind Jason Aaron's Avengers, but the problem with Jason Aaron's Avengers was it could not fit in the rest of Marvel. It was literally its own goddamn thing.
Yeah, I love Jason Aaron, and I hate his Avengers run. If
you treat it as it's like an alternate reality Avengers, you're fine.
It sure looks like it. But yeah,
when he ends the series with all of the alternate reality Avengers fighting, I mean,
yeah. But Bloodhunt is cool. But you're also rewarded if you are reading any of the MacKay books, because you might be like, who the hell's Hunter's Moon? Why is Tigra here? What's going to become of Doctor Strange? Oh, Clea's back. Like, there's a lot of stuff in there that is very distinctly like MacKay's doing this.
And they're all. So I've been reading all the tie-ins to go with Bloodhunt as well.
Yes.
Which are actually pretty fun so far. The Blade one makes like total sense because you got to see what's going on with that. Apparently, I mean, not Blade. The Black Panther one is really good. because
Yeah.
apparently Blade wants Bast. I don't know why, but okay.
I don't know. I don't even know what Blade is up. I'm like, why is Blade doing this? Like, why is he like this?
Like that's the biggest question. I don't, because also the Blade book apparently is still going and he's not evil in it. So
Yeah. I was also worried because I was reading that Blade book and it's a good book, but I also dropped off it and I'm like, did I miss something huge?
Why is he evil?
Right? Like, and I
And
feel
he's not like a
huge.
little evil. He's like, he killed Strange. He turned Blade.
He turned Black Panther. Like, he is a bad
Black
guy.
Panther. Yeah, I keep saying Blade. I don't.
He is Blade.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I it's cool. I think it's neat. I'm glad they're doing like a horror-based Marvel event.
It's weird, one, that this event is taking place in the summer.
Yeah.
It's also ballsy of them to make Blade the primary protagonist, and it seems like Black Panther is the other one.
Yeah.
It's actually really like interesting that they're trying this, considering
right?
Those aren't big names to sell the books. Like,
no,
they like Black Panther could sell a movie. Black Panther books have never been in the top 10, not in the top. I think it's in the top 50, but it's never been like up there.
It has not, despite the like massive push that Black Panther as a character has gotten over the years. His books just, they sell well enough. They sell well enough to continue and they're worth putting money behind. And Ultimate Black Panther is fantastic. It's probably selling better than the main than any of the Black Panther books outside of that. But yeah, I love it. I don't know about you, but it's cool.
Yeah, I really like what they're doing with it. I do think it's a fun Marvel event. It does give me flashbacks to like the King in Black era, where like the whole universe had to reflect what was happening.
Yeah.
And they're doing that kind of. Even Spider-Man got involved, and then they put him in his own book.
That's, for me, that is the biggest casualty of the Sony deal, is that Spider-Man can't prominently feature in a Marvel event.
No, he is. He got his own miniseries, though.
Yeah, of course. So but when you know that any new character created in a Spider-Man book, or if Spider-Man features too prominently, it's considered a Spider-Man book. It goes to Sony, and that's why they don't do it. You realize, like, oh,
yeah,
that's why Spider-Man feels like he's mostly on the fringe or has his own effing universe. Like, if Spider-Man has a big thing happen to him, odds are there'll be 4 other Spider-Men in it.
You're not wrong. Yeah.
Which is a real shame.
I was shocked because Bloodhunt issue 49 of Spider-Man was a Bloodhunt tie-in, and then he goes into the Spider-Man miniseries because now he's too busy being turned into Green Goblin. But
oh, God, I can't even think about
what's wrong with the Green Goblin change? Other than they shouldn't have ended and then come back. It should have just kept going.
I can't even believe it. I'm just not that I can't believe it. It's more just like, I don't know who this is for, but whoever it is outselling whatever I buy on a regular basis. Like, it sells great, and people
they're trying some balls. In my opinion, what's going on is they're trying some ballsy shit with Amazing.
Yeah,
because there is so many other Spider-Man books going on.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if you don't like Amazing Spider-Man, there is another Peter Parker starring book that you can enjoy.
You could go read Spider-Man, which is basically Peter Parker and Miles, and that is a traditional Spider-Man storyline. You can go read Ultimate Spider-Man to finally get the wife and the kids that so many people have wanted for so long. You can go read what other Dan Slott's Spider-Man is doing a more traditional Spider-Man versus Doc Ock.
Yeah, there's Superior Spider-Man where there is no Superior Spider-Man, it's just Spider-Man versus Doc Ock. There's Spider-Boy, I think he shows up in that.
I stand by this. That story is actually really good. I'm actually really enjoying it.
It's fun.
What the does it have to do with Superior Spider-Man?
They know Superior Spider-Man sells books. Like, the name will sell books, but it has nothing to do with Superior Spider-Man.
Nothing to do with him. Like,
it's
Doc Ock is here. It's just a Spider-Man versus Doc Ock story. And they both go, remember that time when you were Superior? And
that's it. Like, Superior Spider-Man is in every issue.
Yeah.
But if you're hoping that like Doc Ock will become Spider-Man again, you will probably be disappointed because that doesn't happen.
Because Peter wore the Superior Spider-Man suit for like 6 issues of this.
Yes, and now he isn't. You could also read J.M.D. Mateus' Spider-Man: Shadow of the Goblin. I think that's another
one. Yeah, that's another
Peter Parker Spider-Man book. And by the way, every other one is better than Amazing.
I don't mind. I don't mind what they're doing now, but I do think problem I have with Amazing right now, and this is as someone who actually has been enjoying it so far.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, this is a cool idea. What the were you smoking? This is a cool idea. What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah,
this is a cool idea. It just goes back and forth.
Yeah, that's what's his name. That's Zeb Wells. Like, being allowed to do things. Like,
because like Peter Parker putting on the black suit and becoming Goblin. Hey, I like this idea. We could do something cool with this idea. Oh, it's over. We're going to do gang war. Why?
Yeah.
What do you do? Oh, no. You liked it? Hold on. We're going to fight Ben Reilly again and not resolve it. Why? What are you doing?
Yeah.
I know. Oh, okay, we're back to Green Goblin. Okay, but you know how cool he looked with the black suit and he kind of lifted it and did a smile? Not doing that. Now he's going to have a weird goblin spider mask. Like, why?
Yeah. I know. It's weird.
It's just I don't get what they're doing.
I don't know.
I want Zeb Wells' run to end with this. It's just what I want to have happen is Spider-Man at the end of the whole thing. All of the crap Zeb Wells put up there. He falls to his knees. He's in tears. He's like, "Why is this happening to me?" And Paul steps forward and he goes, "It was me, Peter. It was me all along."
Dude, I saw like a preview for Black Cat Jackpot, that new book, and like Paul features prominently in it, and I'm like,
I want to cover that and read that, but at the same time, I don't give two shits about Jackpot and Black Cat side adventures.
I would never read that.
I am all for comics are for everybody. There is a comic for who the hell is Jackpot and Black Cat for?
I don't know, but I hope they're enjoying it for as long as it survives.
Yeah,
but I can't imagine. I will never read it.
It was me all along, Peter. Paul.
It was Paul. Well, I'm still waiting for Paul to be revealed to be an alternate reality Peter Parker.
Oh my God. He throws the mask on. I go by the name Ben Reilly.
I think it's just no. I'm another Paul. I'm Lars from Futurama when like Fry goes back in time to himself and becomes the older version of himself. I think Paul is Peter. I think that's why he did that, because I think the Peter, Paul, and Mary joke is there. I think it's deliberate. I think he wants you to know he's like Peter. I think it's just like, I think that he got pressure from editorial to be like, get rid of him. Like, put him over there. Put him in another book.
Yeah. All right. So last comic topic for the day.
Yay.
Fall of X has come to an end.
That's right.
Okay. I have now effectively read everything, Sal.
Yes.
Everything. And I've recorded half of that stuff as part of our videos. If you're following me on Patreon or YouTube memberships, you're already getting portions of it. Very soon it's going to go out to the Comic Story and Classic, and then Full Story is going to get all the individual bits and pieces. And then Comic Story is going to get the 9-hour magnum opus that this is going to turn into. Before we go into my thoughts, as a guy who's not the crazy X-Men fan who was reading it all, but I blitzed it all down. What is your thoughts on the conclusion to Fall of X? Because the biggest complaint I'm hearing from people, and I don't actually agree with this, is it feels rushed.
I mean,
it's been going on for a year. How is that a rush?
I don't know. I feel like it was rushed a long time ago. Like, I think that it was pushed out, to make way for a new status quo.
Yeah. And like they knew the status quo was going to change this summer.
Yeah, and in that regard, I think it does feel a little rushed. But like this conclusion has been building, and it eventually succeeded. I think that I think it's cool, and I don't think it's rushed so much as it is just kind of like they need to end it without ending it, and so it's going to feel weird.
Yes.
Like the tone and the feeling is going to be weird because it has to feel like a conclusion, but I don't think the conclusion is going to be Moira resetting reality. And so as a result, like you have to make it like work. And also you have to have these characters all say goodbye, but only to the current readers of the book.
Yes.
Not to like the universe or to each other. So it's
like I loved the finale with Cyclops on the cliff of Krakoa doing this look at the sunrise, symbolizing the birth of something new. Mm-hmm. And instead of just being like, and that's it, the X-Men are over, he's like, now we wait for Jean. Like, what? Oh shit! Right, Jean's over here.
yeah. Jean's gonna get her own book, and she's like a cosmic force. She's gonna fight Ego the Living Planet and stuff because Tom Brevoort thought that would be cool. Like, it's just it's gonna lose its teeth if you are a regular comic book reader and not just like, I'm really only here for Krakoa. Yeah. Like if you're only here for Krakoa, hopefully it'll be satisfying. If you're a Marvel reader who's like, what's next for the X-Men? You're gonna be pretty surprised because it's not gonna feel like that. It's a different editor. Like even the editorial force is going to be different. It's not even like it's going to be like, oh, consistent quality, consistent expectations, consistent tone. Nope. It's going to be a completely different animal. So it's over.
Yeah. So as someone who just got into it and read through it all, I didn't feel it was too rushed. Depends on. I mean, I do feel some of the Krakoan plots could be technically considered rushed in the terms of like, well, yeah, they came to a conclusion with 12 issues, but nothing that I was reading felt out of place or like they jumped the gun.
Yeah.
What I do feel is if you weren't reading, and this is the constant complaint I've had, if you weren't reading it all, some of it may have felt rushed. Like if you were, because I remember when I was talking to Rob from Comics Explained about it, and he was like, "Oh, you don't have to read anything. You can just read X-Men Forever." Well, yeah, but if you read X-Men Forever and that's it, yeah, it's all going to feel really rushed because it's all going to be resolved in like a panel because it was resolved over the course of 7 issues over here or 9 issues over here, or like the Lei Fong and the Stark Sentinels were resolved over the course of 18 issues of Iron Man. Like,
yes, and they're going to wrap it up in one panel in another book because they have to.
Yeah, because it was resolved. But if you're just reading X-Men, oh, why are they all shutting down? Oh, Magneto did a thing.
You need to know what happened to them.
Which is where my complaints of the Fall of X come in. Because if you're only reading X-Men, if you're only reading Fall of the House of X and Rise of the Powers of X and only X-Men Forever, those feel like the converging points for all of the ancillary shit that I've read.
Yeah.
Because the ancillary shit actually answers everything. Like,
right. It's true. Yeah, no. I mean, like, every question you had about what character's up to and what's happening in Krakoa or what aspect of Krakoa is falling is answered in a book that exists that you could buy.
like for a great point and example, because we're going over how we're going to do this particular portion of the story, Rise of the Powers of X is primarily about Professor Xavier going to the future, figuring out which Dominion path has actually been resolved and how he can also get rid of Moira. So he's time traveling, figuring all this stuff out. During that, the White Hot Room is referenced here and there, but it's not heavily covered. The White Hot Room then gets covered in X-Men Forever, which technically takes place between issues Rise of the Powers of X 3 and it was resolved before Rise of the Powers of X 5. So if you're only reading the Rise of the Powers of X, Jean just goes from, man, I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. I'm kind of half alive and Hope might have the Phoenix too. Phoenix!
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell happened here? It's because it feels rushed. It's because of the way they told the story. I can see the complaints that it's rushed because it's so easy to miss that stuff.
It's true. Yeah, it's easy to miss. That's the problem.
Yes. Because like the Phoenix revival is heavily covered in X-Men Forever. Very heavily covered.
Exactly. It's like you can't complain that like they didn't answer any questions. It's there.
Yeah. Which is also the issue like with Magneto. If you're only reading Iron Man, where the hell did Magneto come back from?
Right.
Oh, well, it's in this other book that isn't even referenced in Iron Man. Just Magneto's here.
Yeah, you got another book. There's a whole other book about that.
Yeah.
That answers that question.
And they're literally like, I sent Magneto. And he's like, I'm here, Tony.
Yeah, like, no, it feels rushed if you are if you read comic books properly. Like that.
Yeah, like a normal person would.
Right. But if you're reading Krakoa and you are all in on Krakoa, you're probably reading most of the books anyway. So you would at least know you're gonna miss something. If you skip,
if you're all in on Krakoa, I agree, because if you're all in on Krakoa, you know that they've been doing this, which is what's made it so hard for me to get involved in most of the Krakoa era. Because I start getting in, I start getting excited, and then I'm like, what the did I miss now?
Yeah.
Like, so that was always my issue with the Krakoa era.
Yeah, it's not going to be like that ever again. Like, if you liked Krakoa, folks at home, like, guess what? I hope you buy the trade because it's never going to happen again. Like,
I do think the idea behind Krakoa was cool, and I get what your constant argument was. The way Krakoa was set up, the way Fall of X was set up, you could choose and pick and choose what you want to read.
Yes. Until it ended.
Until it ended, right. Now it's like, oh shit, you missed it all, apparently, if the Jean situation.
I mean,
because if you were just reading normal X-Men, just normal, that it went from 0 to 90.
Yes.
Like they literally, I think it was issue 30, they were still dealing with like, what can we possibly, let's go see what Doom's doing at Latveria. And let's go over here and have a look over here. And then from like 31 to 34, it's like, and now we're beating everything. And Talon is dead. And this person's over here. Cyclops is free. Oh, there's Jean. Oh, the Sentinels are dying. Like, like, whoa, it's happening.
Right. But at least they officially, like they every aspect has its own time to happen and grow because you're given a whole story to do it. Normally, you're reading X-Men and maybe one other book, And so everything has to happen within that, which means X-Men has to be significantly decompressed. In this case, like X-Men can be X-Men and do whatever happens in X-Men, and Magneto will return, and maybe they won't spend 2 pages doing it. Maybe they'll spend 6 issues doing that. And maybe we can talk about like life and resurrection or death in that time and make it a book you can read and get something out of, which is the point of reading in the first place.
Right.
So, I mean, like, there's
so
balance to it.
I am going to say here, I enjoyed my adventure into the X-Men in this period. I enjoyed most of the Krakoa era that I read.
Yeah.
I do think this is the worst way ever to read comics. I'm standing by that statement. That has not, because you kept telling me if you read it all, you could pick and choose. No, I don't agree with you on that, because too much is skipped if you are picking and choosing.
Right.
Like, it just doesn't work as cleanly as I would like it to if based on your argument. I will say, and this is what, if I did not do comic historian as a job, I would probably never read another comic series like this again.
Well, I don't think there was ever going to be like.
I agree. I don't think I would do it the way that they did the Krakoan era. I don't agree with. It was like 5 years of you have to read it all, or you're just missing bits and bobs and pieces of it.
Yeah.
If I knew that was another segment of Marvel, I would probably just steer clear of it unless I had to cover it for the channel. Because it's just too much. It's and like the amount of times that I would finish an arc, like I'm going to finish all of Iron Man. Well, now certain things have been spoiled for other portions of Krakoa. Yeah. And if you try to do the actual reading order, God help you. It also isn't very linear either, but
the editor of the series should have either gotten an intern to do it or done it themselves to give an official reading. There needed to be an official reading order. The problem is that, like, as part of the deal of Hickman leaving and them going like, yeah, we're just freestyling and doing comic book jazz, they're not all going to line up, and there's books like Dead X-Men that just don't make any effing sense. And like, it's just like, it's actually rare that there is a book within the Krakoa line that like had no business being there or didn't make any sense or was kind of just tacked on. I mean, all of it is, but like tacked on, I mean, but it all was pretty cohesive. It's just that like some of it was more of an experiment than an initiative. And as a result, it makes the reading order tough, because at the end of the day, what Tom Brevoort doesn't want to tell you, he wasn't the editor of the Krakoa line, but he is like the point man for Marvel through the audience, is that you got to pick and choose.
Yeah.
Like, nobody has enough money to buy it all. And nobody
like just catching up, and that already accounts for half of the stuff I'd already bought. It was like $300.
And these creatives, like, they don't all talk to each other about all this stuff. They coordinate through one person, the editor. And the editor's job is supposed to make it all make sense, but he's a human being, and so it's not going to always work out. Or, the creator wants to do something, another creator wants to do something else. Seemingly, there's no problem. There's no conflict between those two ideas until they pursue it to its natural closure point, at which point there is a complication. But we're so far down the road, we have to make a choice. And that choice is either do complete and total gymnastics to accommodate one or the other. And in that case, who do you pick?
Yeah.
Or you go, and we all just get to the end of the story. And there's going to be a conflict, and maybe one writer, a year or 10 down the line will explain why that complication existed. But otherwise, for the most part, the readers who read this book aren't reading that book anyway, so who cares?
I feel like, in my opinion, when Hickman left, Krakoa just got out of Marvel's hands. It got too sprawling. They didn't know what was going on. The two most egregious, in my opinion, in the Fall of X series is, I told you already about the rise of the powers of X and how it crosses over with X-Men Forever, but it's very weird how it crosses over. Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the most egregious. The second most egregious is actually Nightcrawler. Because Nightcrawler does Uncanny Spider. First, you got to have Hellfire Gala. Yep. Then it goes Uncanny Spider-Man 1 through 4. Then it's X-Men Blue Origins. Yep. Which you would think is like, okay, it answers questions, but it's not going to be required reading. But Uncanny Spider-Man 5 literally says you should go read this other book that isn't in Uncanny Spider-Man, and directly references the events of X-Men Blue Origins.
Yeah.
And then I don't even remember where it resolves, but it resolves with Nightcrawler being like, okay, I'm done. I'll go disappear. But then Mystique's like, I'm going to find Destiny. And then that does resolve. It's either in the Fall of the House of X or X-Men. It's in one of those two.
Yeah.
So it goes into something else. And those are the two most egregious on this entire, like, oh my God. If
Right.
you weren't reading them all, you just don't know. You know,
Right,
you're
right.
going to go into the new era of X-Men, and you're going to be like, oh, Mystique's looking for Destiny. Nope, she found Destiny. It was back
Yeah.
here, and it's over. Like, they did
Exactly.
that. I am excited for what's like jumping on X-Men from a fresh point again. Because that's what I liked about the beginning of the Krakoan era. It did feel like a fresh jumping on point for me. And if you give me a fresh jumping on point, I will jump in. Because like all the way back to the beginning of me becoming comic historian, I only read Batman, maybe some Green Lantern, maybe Spider-Man before the New 52.
Yeah.
The New 52 made me into the I read everything guy.
Right.
Because it was a jumping on point. And every time Marvel did a reboot, I did the exact same thing, jumping on point, even though their reboots were never really reboots. So I did enjoy a fresh jumping on point for the X-Men.
Totally.
But we need a new one. We definitely needed this.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, everyone's pretty much ready to move on anyway. Yeah. So that's great.
So what do you think's going to happen to the island? You think it's just going to be
I think it'll go away, but it won't be like, I think they'll hang it on a wall. And maybe it'll come back, but more likely it'll be a member of a team.
What the island is about? What about Mars?
It'll get a symbiote or something.
If I remember correctly, Arakko wasn't removed. It's still up there, right?
Yeah, I think they'll blow that up, make it into nothing again.
I was like, because I don't think that was really resolved in any meaningful manner.
Yeah, they'll probably have the Inhumans fight them.
Because that was like Fei Long's entire argument, that the Avengers gave up Mars and then the mutants are there. And I thought that was going to be the resolution. Like he would find a way to get rid of them. They would go back to their dimension, and that would be the end of that.
Yeah, no, I think you'll see the Inhumans fight the Arakans, and then the Inhumans will move to Mars. That's my
You think
wild
the Inhumans
theory.
are coming back?
I mean, when they want to bring them back, that'll be a way to get people's attention.
Yeah, that's true. Because they'll be fighting the mutants and the X-Men, but
it'll be the Arakan mutants, and then it'll be a conflict like which X-Men are going to come to the fight. You know?
Yeah. But all right, well, overall, I thought it was fun. You're right. When I read it all and I got most of it, very few didn't feel like they fit or worked. So like I think Cable and Bishop just kind of felt like it was like,
they were their own things.
They were doing their own thing. I get that they were resolving Children of the Vault, like so that would be resolved, but I don't think Children of the Vault was important enough for me to give a shit. So
nope. I understand that. Yeah.
I thought the concept was great, and when Phantom X was there, that was cool. But like ever since the X-Men would occasionally go, I felt it was weird because during the whole entire Krakoan era, the X-Men would occasionally go to the Vault and be like, this is still here.
yeah. Nobody wanted to work on X-Men Krakoa. Like nobody with Krakoa thought, like, let's stay until we overstay our welcome.
Yeah.
Which I think was Hickman's concern in the first place, but yeah.
Well, he had an original, just a 3-act plan, right? Like,
yeah.
It was supposed to be Inferno and then Elver. It was over, and then
I don't even know, folks. I mean, like, listen to him on. He's said it all on other people's podcasts, and I don't listen to other people's podcasts for the most part. Like, I listen to my own, and I listen to my friends, but like, I don't have a lot of time. Yeah, but like people are like, how dare you say things without referencing this one podcast that he was on? And I was like, go listen to go comment on a video.
But all right, well, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Absolute Comics. Not too much going on in the world of comics and video games. Oh, real quick video game announcement: Marvel Rivals announced Venom, and I got really excited.
Oh,
and then they announced Adam Warlock, and there was a
collective shrug.
Yeah, I was like, all right.
I guess that's nice.
It was kind of fun in the Guardians movie, even though he really wasn't Adam Warlock.
No,
like a gold himbo.
Yeah. But we'll see. Good for Adam Warlock fans.
Yeah. That's what I love about Rivals, though. They're really deep diving on some of these character references. You know.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else major that got announced or promoted or anything like that, though.
Right? No. Yeah.
But all right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Absolute Comics. We'll be back next week with another discussion. I do apologize for this not being filmed on the correct day. Destiny is dropping its final expansion, and after 10 years of playing this game, I'm going to spend all day seeing how they resolve it so I can bitch on the internet.
No.
So thank you guys so much, and I will see you next time. My brain's shutting down. What the hell?
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.